Krishna appeared to Vasudev. Why? Vasudev shared the same spirit as Devaki. What was the great sacrifice of Vasudev? Most people want a child so they can enjoy it. Vasudev willingly arranged 6 children that he had to see killed. And each one was a male. So you can understand the natural affection that Vasudev had for these children. And he was willing to experience all this pain because it was his service to Krishna. To help arrange for Krishna to appear for the rest of the world to enjoy, to be benefited by, and to be enlightened by. Sometimes you're willing to undergo tremendous amount of austerity if you know that you'll get something in the future. Right? If I know I could have such a good son, then I'm willing to watch all these other things take place. But Vasudev, even after going through all of that, when Krishna finally did appear, he wasn't even attached to keeping Krishna. Krishna said, the moment I appear, Vasudev, take me across the Jamuna, bring me to the house of Nanda Maharaj, there I will stay. You will be childless, living in the prison for the rest of the time. Did Vasudev complain? Did he say, my dear Krishna, do you know what I went through to have you as a child? Do you know all the suffering and pain? If it wasn't for you coming as my child, I wouldn't even have to be in prison today. It's only because of this prophecy of you that I'm here. It's only because of you that I lost my 6 children. And now, I finally have you, and you're not even going to allow me to keep you for 1 hour? You want me to immediately take you to somebody else? Did he complain like that? No. When he was given the order by Narayan, that when I am born, you take me to Nanda, then you come back and live in this jail. When he was given that order, Vasudev, with folded palms, he bowed his head. Yes, Krishna, let your will be done. My life and soul is for your pleasure. When we come to that consciousness, where we are willing to give everything for Krishna and expect nothing in return, then we are on the Vasudev platform. Then Krishna appears to us. So Krishna says, Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, when one finally comes to the point of knowledge, he surrenders to Vasudev. He surrenders in the mood of Vasudev. So you may be thinking, Vasudeva is suffering? Externally it appears, yes, he is suffering. But because he is accepting suffering in the service of the Lord, actually, internally, you should know that Krishna is reciprocating with him and giving him the purest and highest state of transcendental ecstasy from within, because he was willing to go through all of this. And he loved Krishna as his own child. After Krishna was brought to Gokul, he had to come back with the baby girl, Yogamaya. Then she flew away. He wasn't even allowed to keep a daughter. And how much he was always worrying about Krishna. Kamsa was sending very powerful mystic asuras throughout to kill all the babies. He was always trying to make whatever inquiries. How is this little baby son of Nanda Maharaj? How is he doing? What is he doing? How is he growing up? He could not even see his own child being brought up. What a pleasure it is for a father. The one son that was born, he wasn't even allowed to see him for 10 years. But he was willing to accept that position because Krishna was enjoying. And when he would hear how Krishna was enjoying in Vrindavan, Gokul, he was so happy. So how much are we willing to live for the pleasure of God? That is the spirit of Janamashtmi. It is when we capture this spirit. Do not think it is simply all pain. But this is the extreme and the extent that Vasudev and Devaki gave us an example of what it means to be a selfless servant. What it means, what is the qualification for Krishna to appear within our life? It is not that you may necessarily have to go through all of that. Actually, Krishna consciousness is simply blissful. Chanting, dancing, feasting. It is wonderful. But we have to capture that same spirit. We have to be willing to go through all those things for the pleasure of Krishna if it is His will. He may not make you go. He may or may not. That is His will. He may have everything go just your way. Very nice. If that is His will, we accept. Unconditional trust and faith in the divine will of God. That is what we learn from Vasudev and Devaki. When we come to the temple with this feeling, Krishna, how can I serve you? Krishna, how can I make you happy? Of course, Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika. If you want to make me happy, you have to make my devotees happy. Lord Krishna told Uddhava, he who calls himself my devotee is not my devotee. Sometimes we are very proud. I am Krishna's devotee. If you're saying like that, according to Krishna, you're not His devotee. Krishna says, he who calls himself the devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. So God, by coming to please Sri Radha Gopinath, we must come with a desire to please the Lord's devotees, to serve the Lord's devotees. We should not come to the temple for our pleasure. We should come to the temple for Guru and Krishna's pleasure. Then we will come whether we feel like it or not. That is the proper consciousness by which we approach Krishna. Janamashtmi is most glorious. Actually, it is the most illuminating and enlightening night of the year if we approach Krishna as His humble servant. Then Krishna will not only appear as a historical reference to our mind, but He will actually appear within our life on that night. He is everywhere. He is in everything. And He is anxious to reveal Himself. But we have to open our hearts in order to accept His divine mercy.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on devotionalnectar.com.